My dear family, many times when we read the Gospel of Mark, we may find many different themes packed into just a couple of verses. However, today is one of those very few times where Mark stays focused on one theme, one teaching only. And that is the theme of greatness. What does it mean to be great? Today's gospel is about what it means to be great according to Christ. The gospel opens up with James and John, two of the young disciples. And they were wondering, how can they become great like their teacher? However, James and John were thinking about greatness in terms of the world. They thought that Jesus was going to establish a physical kingdom, a kingdom similar to that of the Roman Empire. So James and John saw an opportunity to wash away their old way of life and become someone important with Jesus. Hence why they asked him, "Teacher, we want you to do whatever we want." In other words, commanding Jesus for whatever they want. But Jesus quickly corrects them and explains to them that that is not what greatness is. To be great does not mean to seek praise, worship, honor, or any of those in terms of the world. No, to be great, to be truly great, we need to become servants, he says. Servants of servants, servants to one another. If we want to summarize this teaching of becoming a servant like Christ, it comes down to what some people may call basin theology. A suffering servant to one another. Here in today's gospel, Mark introduces us to this servant theology. If we truly want to be great, then we need to be servants. We need to practice basin theology. What on earth is basin theology? The idea comes from having two completely different approaches to a basin filled with water. On the one hand, we have a basin filled with water, and one person sees an opportunity to serve, to wash his disciples' feet because they were tired and dirty from walking along the path with him. And on the other side, we have the same basin filled with water, and another person sees an opportunity to wash away his hands from any responsibility. Jesus, my dear family, sees a basin filled with water and sees an opportunity to serve. Pontius Pilate, on the other hand, sees a basin filled with water and sees an opportunity to wash his hands away from any responsibility. If we truly want to become great in the kingdom, we take responsibility. Responsibility for our faith, for the practice of it. We see a spiritual or physical need and we fulfill it. We do not just wash away our hands from any responsibility at the first sight of any conflict. Sometimes, my dear family, we may act like those two young disciples. We want to wash our hands away from responsibilities so that we ask God what we want. Teacher, do whatever we want of you. And so attain highest of honors here on earth. However, to be truly great, it means that we take risks. We take the risk of lowering ourselves down to our knees for the sake of serving someone. We take the risk of being looked down upon. We take the risk of loving someone who at the end of the day, may not love us back. A follower of Jesus does not just wash his hands or her hands away from any responsibility at the sight of the first possible conflict. When we see a need, physical or spiritual, we do our best to meet it. And we do so not alone. We do so with Christ, in Christ, and through Christ. My dear family, when you see the basin of someone else's life, or even the basin of the church, filled with the waters of conflict, what do you see? Do you see a need waiting for it to be fulfilled by you? Or do we see an opportunity to wash our hands away from any responsibility for the next person to take care of?